One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo Breaker!
Alright, so after the battle between the Tmnt and Batman, I feel like there should be a quote-unquote sequel battle. So I'm putting Batman's most dangerous villain up against the TMNT's most dangerous villain. That's right, it's a battle between Deathstroke the Terminator and the Shredder, the Turtle Slayer. Under the streets of New York live 4 Ninja Turtles, and you know what? They've already fought Batman, so I'll just go ahead and do the short and dirty version of Shredder's story. Love triangle, guy named Yoshi, some girl, he thinks he kills Yoshi, Yoshi comes back, turns into a rat, trains the turtles, yada yada yada. So on to Shredder's arsenal and powers. So Shredder clearly has some sort of weird things with blades. I mean, this guy's armor is covered in them. He's got more blades on his arm than Bigfoot has hairs on his ass. Now, he's got them on his shoulders, arms, legs, head, you name it, he's got a blade there. So just don't hug him and you'll be fine. So he's also a master at wielding weapons. He'll wield swords, spears, bow staffs, and throwing weapons. But it's not like he needs any of them anyway. He's skilled in unarmed combat too. And with that bladed suit, one good bitch slap should put you down. So I guess let's move into his stats. Shredder is strong enough to tear through steel shipping containers with his claws. He's throw around giant mutant alligators like nothing, and even cut down trees with a single sword swing. Now, the mutant in question is named Leatherhead. He weighs over 300 pounds. Shredder is also durable enough to survive being chomped on by Leatherhead, a giant freaking alligator, as I said a second ago. And if you didn't know, this chomp had a force of at least 3,000 psi, and then he kicked his ass a few seconds later. So the Shredder is also fast enough to slash a meatball and 2 candles clean in half before the mob boss eating them could even see it. And now, just for some comparison, the human eye can see 1/220th of a second. So Shredder would have had to move faster, at least that fast, to be able to cut the meatball in half without him seeing. Now, if Shredder ever needs a boost in power, he'll drink some Mountain Dew, I mean mutagen, mutating his body into Super Shredder. As Super Shredder, he gains a super strength and super speed and super durability boost. He can teleport and even shoot frickin' lightning. Now, Super Shredder is tough enough to pretty much take a sword slash to his skin with no effect afterwards, and even fall thousands of feet onto a steel beam and be perfectly fine. But Shredder does have some pretty dumbass weaknesses. Like, honestly, you thought some old school superhero weaknesses were lame? Listen to this. He's weak to garbage trucks, babies, music, and wood. Yep. So I guess keep him away from a freaking ladder or like a newborn baby. It's really dumb. But even with all these weaknesses, Shredder is a total badass. Slade Wilson, aka the Terminator, aka Deathstroke, was used for a super soldier program, but instead of making him resistant to truth serums like they planned, they gave him a healing factor and made him an absolute badass. Slade being a super murderer is sure to give him a diverse arsenal of weapons and powers. Well, in the powers department, maybe not so great. Really, all it gave him was a healing factor, and it's a pretty decent one. Nowhere near the levels of Wolverine or Deadpool, but it's enough that he can heal most wounds pretty much instantly. However, he cannot regenerate limbs, as shown by his missing eye. But gashes, cuts, and blunt force will pretty much be healed away in a matter of time. Now, here's where Deathstroke shines, his arsenal. He wields an assortment of guns ranging from high-caliber sniper rifles and shotguns to fast-firing submachine guns and pistols. He also has assorted explosives with detonators, a bow staff capable of one-shotting a helicopter, and his signature double-edged sword, as well as a teleporter and jetpack, but he hardly ever uses these. Now, despite Deathstroke's weird-ass outfit, it's actually bullet and stab resistant. So I guess with that out of the way, let's move into his feats. Deathstroke is physically stronger than Batman, who could kick down metal doors, and he can also take out a bunch of goons in a few punches. Now, his guns can actually kill full-grown people and lower-level heroes, and his staff is able to one-shot a helicopter. Deathstroke is faster than Katana, who's been shown to dodge bullets and block gunshots. Now, Deathstroke is also pretty durable. He's durable enough to get shot and stabbed and keep fighting, and he's tough enough to survive fights with Batman. Deathstroke is also a genius, and is often called the best strategist in the world. Now keep in mind, this is the same world where Batman lives, so that should be an indicator of just how smart he is. But Deathstroke does have one weakness, but he's learned to cope with this. He has one eye. So think about it, that guy's depth perception has got to be absolutely god-awful. But he's learned to cope with this, and it's only a minor weakness now. So let's see what badass villain can claim victory. Deathstroke looks at a wanted poster for the Shredder and heads out. He arrives at the Foot Clan base an hour later and sits in the shadows. Shredder finally walks out of 2 large doors, and Deathstroke quickly draws his handgun and fires at the Shredder, who blocks the bullet with his arm. Deathstroke steps out of the shadows and pulls out his sword. Shredder runs and jumps up and dive kicks down at Deathstroke. Deathstroke quickly dodges and slashes his sword at Shredder. Shredder is able to catch Deathstroke's sword and kicks him. Deathstroke flips back and pulls out an SMG and starts firing at the Shredder, who weaves between the bullets and backhands Deathstroke before punching him through the palace walls. Deathstroke hides in the shadows of the palace as Shredder walks in. Deathstroke fires a high-caliber sniper round at Shredder, and it hits him in the shoulder. Shredder runs up and stabs his claws into the Deathstroke and starts to pull upwards. Deathstroke headbutts Shredder, causing him to stumble back, and then presses a small button, causing a bomb on Shredder to explode. Deathstroke's wounds start to heal as he pulls his sword back out and starts slashing at Shredder, who starts blocking the attacks. Deathstroke kicks Shredder in the gut, making him stumble back long enough for him to cut him in the chest. Shredder backs up and pulls out his mutagen and cracks it open. Shredder then yells and runs at Deathstroke, who swings his sword, but Shredder grabs the blade and snaps it in half with ease. Deathstroke pulls out his staff and starts blocking Shredder's onslaught of slashes and punches. Shredder then teleports behind Deathstroke and rips him in half from behind. Shredder removes his armor and walks inside for medical attention. Our winner is Shredder, and well, it shouldn't be too much of a shock, but I'll go ahead and go stat by stat and explain why. So starting with strength, Shredder and Deathstroke have very similar strength feats, but most of Deathstroke's require him to wield a weapon, whereas Shredder only uses his armor, which he's always wearing for his feats. Now, then throw him into Super Shredder, and Deathstroke will have a hard time keeping up on this fight. Plus, taking down a helicopter is nowhere near as good as throwing a 300-pound mutant and then slashing through some shipping containers. And then add in the strength boost from Super Shredder, and he takes this category with ease. Speed is another category that Deathstroke doesn't stand a chance against the Shredder in. For comparison, Deathstroke can dodge a bullet, but Shredder can move faster than the eye can see. So with a normal human can see up to 1/220th of a second, and Shredder is about 12 times faster than Deathstroke if you do the math. Now, durability is a debatable category, but what it comes down to is, yes, Deathstroke has survived beatings from tough foes, but he was injured afterwards, and yeah, he can heal from it, but you have to be able to survive the attack to heal from it, whereas Shredder took a similar beating from Leatherhead and then got back up unscathed and beat the shit out of Leatherhead. Now, intelligence and arsenal are Deathstroke's only advantages. Deathstroke is smarter, being able to fight people like Batman and being considered the smartest tactician, but Shredder isn't that far behind him, as he's the leader of the Foot Clan. So I guess it's a small edge, but not that much to sway the battle. Now, Deathstroke's arsenal is more diverse, I guess you could say, but it's not very useful against the Shredder, whose armor can block bullets and shrug off sword slashes, so most of Deathstroke's arsenal is useless, with the exception of maybe his sword and his bow staff. And before you make any arguments about the teleporters and jetpacks, well, Super Shredder can teleport, so the teleporter isn't going to help him very much, and he doesn't use the teleport or jetpack very often, so there's no reason that he would pull it out now. So with the Shredder being stronger, way faster, and more durable, it leaves pretty much no way that Deathstroke, with his arsenal and tactics, could win unless Shredder decided not to fight at his best. And plus, Deathstroke's healing factor will only prolong the inevitable. Our winner is the Shredder.
Next time on Combo Breaker.
Samurai Jack versus Link.